Hello, everybody. Today we're going to go into Brazil, into the heart of Rio de Janeiro, in the town of Macae. So we're going to look at an abandoned apartment, and I'm showing it here on the map, and we're going to look at this place and see what it's like. So you can see there's a lot of grass there, there's no trees, and we're going to take a visit. It's strange to have an abandoned place at such a large scale. And it could be because we have a situation called lava jato that happened here. And this lava jato situation is called car wash. So in English, it's known as car wash. And the reason why it's sort of a term that they use for money laundering, like the car wash. And it's probably because that was like a big business and the government supported that. And there were also a lot of money laundering operations used in places like car washes and parking areas and things like that. So this is sort of one of the things that have been occurring down here. Now, you can see on this route here, we're heading into the area just up ahead. This is sort of a semi-rural area that we're going into. And this is sort of like at the edge of town in reality. The further we go, the more isolated things get. Now, this is not a common road here. So a lot of people are not really aware of this area, even the people that live in this town. And so it could possibly be a decent place to be because no one is going to really travel through this area for no reason except for residents. Because at the end of it, it's going into a rural area, and you'll see that as I go into this video later on. Now, for Brazilian standards, this is sort of a middle-class area. And, regardless of the looks, it's just the culture here. A lot of people you might see standing on the corner like that. She is waiting on the bus. And buses travel a lot of areas. The bus industry is a big market down here. Now, the city buses are in bad condition. Most of the time they're overcrowded and so forth. But the intercity buses are actually really nice down here because the people that normally take these buses are working class people. So it's not like Greyhound and Trailways in the U.S. Like if you have, when I first went into the military, they put you on a Greyhound. It's a long time ago. I don't know if they still do that, but you would go to the MEP center and do the testing and everything, the physical. And the buses were horrible. The people that ride Trailways and those types of buses are, not the really top of the line that we have in the U.S. And it's sort of a dangerous situation, I think, to be around those places. There's usually drug addicts and other people. Now, this is the apartment complex. It's up on a hill. Now, probably one of the reasons why maybe they didn't finish the project is because this place right here, I did some research on it, and they're actually trying to sell. This is sort of a condominium, so they're trying to sell apartments in the condominiums. Now, it seems strange to buy an apartment. Why would somebody buy an apartment in a place like that? But people in Brazil, they buy apartments. They don't, for some reason, living in a house is not a big priority for Brazilians. So this place is a little bit different than most condominiums. So you have a security guard there, but he's not really checking traffic, checking to see if you have a tag or anything like that. So pretty much anybody can drive into this place But most people that have a car in Brazil are not going to, are middle class. So in Brazil, the middle class has a car. People who are poor do not have a car. So you could look in this area. You don't see a lot of cars. A lot of these condos, they almost have no available parking. So that means there's probably a lot of vacant areas, and that might explain why the other place is abandoned. The hill we just went up is very steep. And you can see the person pushing the bicycle up. They seem to have a little bit of difficulty going up the hill. So you see a lot of dogs lying around in Brazil too. That's one thing that you see. In my last short video, I was talking about a token dog. Like every restaurant, you're going to see a dog outside the door, especially at a barbecue. And sometimes the dogs will walk into, people don't really seem to mind. I was at this pretty nice restaurant out in a rural area, and in the rural areas it's even worse. But you'll see dogs walking around inside the stores and other places, and people just sort of ignore it. But most businesses are open. They don't have doors on them. So one time I was in a supermarket and there was a cat inside the area where they had the deli meats, and I guess they don't have to worry about rats in that store. So of course it's not always like that. Most of the stores have really good hygiene. Things are safe down here. Like in Mexico, they say don't drink the water. Here you can drink the water. You can use ice down here, and you're not going to have a problem. Like when I first came down here, I was worried about adding ice to my drinks, and they say like in some places don't add ice, but here, the ice, most places that have ice, they buy bags of ice, and the ice is clean, and the water. Most people drink bottled water down here. And you see a lot of animals around here. You're going to see some cows in the middle of the road. This, like I said, this is on the edge of town. And this is the prefect. So in Brazil they have prefects. I've explained this before. Some of my older videos I explain how the prefix system works down here. They don't have counties. And even though they classify these places like cities, the political districts are in prefects. So the mayor of the city is not actually a mayor, he's a prefect. So it's kind of like he's responsible for an area. So in the United States, you might have a place that's an unincorporated city. You might see those signs sometimes. One example is Sandy Springs, Georgia, used to be incorporated into Atlanta, and they decided to separate. Well, that's not possible down here in Brazil. So that like a region could vote their way out of a city because it's a prefect down here. They don't have counties. So there's one layer of government that we have in the United States, which are counties, which do not exist down here. So you see a lot of cows that are loose down here. And, I'm not sure if it's because of a problem with fencing or, maybe they're just grazing. They just let them graze everywhere. But animals do come back to their home. A lot of people have chickens and other things down here. They don't have them in chicken coops. They sort of range free. And we have free-ranging chickens in the U.S. too. And they seem to know where to go and when to come back home and so forth. And I guess if you feed them, they're always going to come back. And so this is an area where people actually live, and it's not too shabby. It's not a slum, that's for sure. It doesn't look great. The walls need painting and things like that, but it's not in some sort of torn up condition that you might see in a slum in Chicago or something. And you see these barbecue grills everywhere, so not everywhere, but in various places, strategic places. You see these around here a lot, in a lot of places in Brazil. These are sort of like outdoor gyms. And there's a playground there, so I guess people might go down here and sort of do a workout. Not as good as the equipment that you find in a gym, but it is a way to do some calisthenics and other things. And you see a few people using those. They're not used so much. I see a lot of these things posted in or situated in various areas, but people don't seem to use them that much. Now this down here is the abandoned area, and I wanted to go down there, but you can see at the end of this road, you can see they piled up debris to prevent people from going down there. And so this is probably the best view that I could get of this area, so we can see what's going on. But one of the things that you'll notice is there's grass where the parking area should be. So it's not kept up at all. But it seems like they did everything but maybe put in the windows, possibly. I don't seem to see any windows down there. And they even put the power lines in and everything. It seems like just they probably got to a point and realized that the market crashed with the Lava Jato, the car wash thing, where the president of Brazil, that's president right now, laundered an enormous amount of money. It was at that time, the biggest crime in history. Maybe Biden has beaten that by now, I'm not sure, but this is so this is the thing with the Lava Jato here. And it's surprised that this guy got reelected down here. I don't understand why, but he did. And so you can see here, I would imagine that there's probably wildlife in these buildings. Who knows what's down there? That might be why they have the roadblock, but it is in pretty bad condition. It's not well kept, and I'm not sure what they're going to do with that. Maybe if the market is returning, the population is starting to increase down here. But in a time of a year around like 2015 when this happened, 2014, 2015, 2016, I'm not sure exactly. I have to go back and look, but during this time, the city went from 500,000, or the prefect, which the majority of it is in the city, it went from 500,000 and dropped down to about 200,000. An enormous decline. And there were other reasons too. There was some political corruption in this town. And they receive a lot of royalties from the petroleum industry. This is a petroleum town here. They receive a ton of royalties. And the town is in disarray. The main area of town is in disarray. The roads are in bad condition. And the only roads that are in good condition in Brazil are private roads. So there are private highways here in Brazil. But as you can see, this is pretty bad here. It's a beautiful view. I'm sure that anyone that lives up on this hilltop has a great view of mountains. If they live on the other side, they could probably see the ocean. If they're on some of the top floors, you can't really see the ocean from here. But it is... it's in the opposite direction of the mountains. So it would be to the left. And so just judging by the area, you can tell that it's not a slum, it's not a favela or anything like that. And these buildings look okay when you're looking at that, but some of them look kind of dirty. I'm not sure if it's maybe because of the sunlight but when I was going through here, I kind of noticed that these buildings looked somewhat dirty, but it doesn't look bad, and it's in pretty decent condition. Most if you can see, like some of the windows, they have air conditioner units in them. Going back to this cow here. Now, I'm not sure what type of cow that is. There's one that was the biggest cow, and it was like a big white cow. Now, those cows come from India. And I think the cow that we just saw, it might be more closely related to the American cow. But the reason why they have those cows from India is because the cows down here are, it's hotter. So an American cow is not going to do so well down here. And I think but the meat is a little bit harder. They've tried to genetically modify American cows to make them adaptable to the Brazilian weather. But the cows in the United States are the beef is softer than these cows down here. But I mean, the beef is good down here. You just, it's going to definitely condition your teeth to, sometimes I've had meat that, like one time I bought some beef and I could not chew it all. I had to throw it over the fence, let the dogs get it. But it was pretty tough. I mean, it was extremely tough. And that was only one time that I had that situation occur. It could be because some of these cows might live in the mountains and get a lot of exercise. So that could have been the reason why. I'm not sure. Maybe they were stressed out when they kill them. It's like that Kobe beef. They massage these cows and I think play classical music or whatever and keep these cows relaxed. But it's not, it looks, so you can see like some of the sides of these buildings, they don't look the best. And one thing you have to take into consideration, this is a tropical area. You see a lot of this. I think it's extremely difficult to keep a lot of these places looking good. However, these types of, a lot of the construction down here is concrete blocks. And one thing that's definitely, living, if someone lived in an apartment like that, I've been in some of these places, the soundproofing is good. You cannot hear your neighbors. The walls are tough. The insulation is good. Like where I live, I have probably similar type construction walls, and if like when I turn on the air conditioner, I can have the air conditioner on. And it could be a hot day, and I could have the air conditioner on, and then go away for 3 hours. Come back, when I walk into the room, it's still cool. So the insulation is good down here. Whatever the material is, it seems to work pretty good. But they're also primarily designed to keep it cool. Now, you will not find a heater anywhere in this region, even though it can get cold in the wintertime. But when you're talking about cold weather, you're looking at around the 60s. I think 60s. I think 54 is the coldest it has ever been down here. Winter is in July, and in the winter it's June, July, around that area, and around that time. And midwinter, of course, June is the solstice, and June, around June 25th. So June 25th down here is the summer solstice. 23rd, 25th, and in the United States is the winter solstice. So June is the coldest time down here, maybe June, July. And even at that time, I will rarely wear a jacket. I might just wear a jacket just for, just to do it, sort of stylish. Maybe to carry a wallet or something. But in that case, I'm not too hot. I'm not too, if I'm walking, it'll be too hot. I'll take it off. But you will see a lot of people, like even right now, it's somewhere, if it's in the 70s, if it gets down to like 70 degrees, you will see people wearing jackets. Even set like 74, 75, you'll see people wearing jackets and they're walking around cold. So I think anything below body temperature down here causes, maybe being born and raised in this environment causes the system to not heat up. I'm not a biological expert in that area. I know more about the mitochondria than I do, what causes your body temperature to increase and decrease. So I studied biology, but it seems like the main thing we focused on with the human body was the mitochondria. So anyway, we're going to, through these places, and you can see down here, there seems to be more people living down here. Now, I don't know how many people are living here who do not have cars, which there could be because the bus does travel here. But I would imagine that for those who do not have cars that live up in the top area, it's a good walk up that hill. So they're going to have some strong legs. But the bus does not go up into this area. The bus stops outside at that. You can see the bus when we're coming in here. That's kind of where the bus stops. And it might even wait a little bit. I'm not sure. Sometimes when it goes to these areas at the end, at the end of a route, maybe, and that's probably kind of the end of the route, they might wait there for a while. It could be they might use it like a break area or something. I see them do that sometimes. And like I said, this is at the end, because when we pull out of here, we're about to get out of this area too. I just wanted to show like one more view of that abandoned area. And you can see here, you can see a little bit. I think you can see a water tower back there. There's a little playground here. And that's the last of the view of this area. Now, what we're going to see next at the end of this road are a lot of metallic, I guess aluminum panels or tin panels up. That's blocking the entrance into that area. So everywhere along that way is blocked pretty good, so it's difficult for people to get in there. I don't know if I tried to walk in there if someone would try to stop me. Maybe one day I'll ask the security if I can go up in there and see what they say. Thing is, it's probably full of snakes, a lot of other things too. So, and snakes down here in Brazil are pretty bad. Some of them are anyway. You have these anacondas and other things going around. But there aren't too many anacondas around here. It's mostly like types of boa constrictor type snakes that are a little bit smaller. And I had one in my yard one time. And I would say it was about like maybe 6 foot long, something like that. And it's sort of related to, that's a security guard right there. They usually ride around on motorcycles. So it was sort of a boa constrictor type snake. And I'll tell you what, that thing was strong. I was trying to get it with a pole and like hold it down, and it was just, those things are just pure muscle. So here's the exit, and let's see if that bus is still there. So the bus is gone. So I don't know how long that bus waited. So on the outside here, you can see there's probably a couple places that sell barbecue and maybe some necessities that people probably need in an apartment and live in a place like that. There might be a place to buy some bread, because usually what people need most in Brazil, bread and cheese, especially, that's usually what they eat for breakfast. Bread with bread and butter, and that's kind of their main breakfast, cheese and like this bologna called mortadella. That's what it is. So going out here, we're going to take a right this time, and we're going to continue down that road that we originally came in. And now we're going to go through some farmland. This is sort of towards the end here, but It's a very scenic view. And at first we'll be stuck behind a dump truck, but after we pass that truck, you can see this mountain view. Now, I didn't go through the entire route, so I'm gonna post that in a different video so you can see that scenic route, which is really nice, and most people around here don't even know about it. And so I decided to do a visual of that route and kind of see where this went. This is my first time down the road, so I was exploring it my own self. And it's really nice down here. It looks like a good place to buy a house or something. And I'm going to try to go through, this was in the afternoon, so the sun was starting to set. So I'm going to try to do this in the morning sometime and see if it looks better with the sun in the back instead of in the front. Because the sun can sometimes have some effects on my camera. And that's it. So if you have any questions, want to know anything about that abandoned place, let me know. And I'll go into it. And I'm just going to go ahead and just sort of close here. And you can watch the rest of this video. And please subscribe if you liked it. And click the notification bell if you want to watch more. I will post more videos, and I will have some more videos about this these types of places. And again, thanks for watching, and take care. I will post a video with the continuation of this route in the near future, very near future.